Hi everyone, my name is Rikko Emoto. How are you doing? Today, we are going to create the mode for a lead. The last part of the mode making. We are getting there, aren't we? Before we start working on the mode, there's one thing to be sorted out. Remember, the model of the lead was created by pouring the plaster over the joint section of the body part. However, the depth of this connection part will not be sufficient for the lead to stay on its body when we tilt the teapot to pour some tea. So what I usually do is to extend the length of this part by adding some more plaster. First, make sure that the model has absorbed enough of water, and then give a bit of sanding over this surface to remove any coating of soft soap which was applied during the process of creating the model of its node. And after that, create some scratches with a knife so that the plaster we are going to pour will be well integrated into this surface. Now, soap. This time, we need to keep this surface uncoated, so we've got to do it very carefully. And then create a wall with some buff clay around the surface on where we had made scratches earlier. We'll be carving and sanding to adjust the level of the surface later on anyway. So at this stage, I recommend you to make some room around the surface rather than trying to make it with precise angle. We only need 3 to 4 centimeters, so I think this is good enough. And pour the plaster in. Okay, it's been done. We've got the proper model of the lead now. So let's create a mode for this. First, we apply some soft soap as usual. Right, we start with the side part. As you can see, the design of the lead is quite humpy like its body part. So we divide the model into some sections so that there will be no undercut. And this is how the mold will look like from the side. Anyway, let's get started. First, we put some buff clay on the flat board with thick surface. And put the model on it. And fill some buff clay underneath. masking tape, and plaster. Right, this is what we've got now. We roughly tidy up the connection surfaces. Create some keys. And soft soap. Now, we've got 3 more side parts left. So I'm gonna fill some buff clay in the middle section so that we can pour plaster into 2 other sections at the same time. Partition board. Masking tape. And plaster. Okay, the last section of the side parts. Right, all the side parts have been created. So the next, we're gonna work on the bottom part. First, we put the elastic band around the mold to keep them together. And roughly make the top surface even with some tools. And also make this area nice and clean. And the soft soap. Partition boards. Masking tape. And plaster. Okay, we're gonna move on to the lid now. But first, as you can see, there's this thin layer of plaster covering the surface of the model, so we need to remove this. And the keys. And the soft soap. Now we're gonna create a mouth hole to pour the slip in and out. We roughly keep 7 millimeters of margin from the edge. And build some kind of pillar with buff clay. Partition boards. Masking tape. Plaster. Okay, finally, the last part, the knob. Usual procedure, we apply some soft soap first. We divide this into the sections. And the side parts will be covering the bottom like this. た。Right, this is what we've got now. Let's just tidy up the surface briefly. Keys. And soft soap. Okay, now the knob can be done with 4 side parts. So like how we did with the lid, we can fill some backplate in the middle section and pour the plaster into the sides. Last bit of the side parts. Now we are going to create the top part. Right, we're gonna create a mouth hole to pour the slip in and out here. As you can see, it's quite small, so we carefully set the buff clay on this circle. Right, I think this is it for today. This episode was the last one of the teapot mold making, so we'll move on to the slip casting from the next one. Well, anyway, thank you very much for watching everybody, and I will see you with the next one. Bye now!